it is time to welcome our second guest in the segment we call Dog Mom Biz. Dani Pedraza is the founder of Big City Woof Walker, a company that's using technology to change the way the busy business people in New York City and Chicago take care of their pets while at work. And she joins us now from Charleston, South Carolina. Dani, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, how's it going in Charleston these days? How's the weather? I bet it's lovely.
It is lovely. It's starting to get a little bit more on the chilly, warm side, which is my favorite. So I'm a
Oh,
very happy camper walking my dogs.
there you go. It is. That's perfect dog walking weather. So I know you're a dog mom because you just told us, and I know you're passionate about dogs. But when did your love for dogs begin? Was it in childhood or when did it start?
Yeah, so I grew up on my great grandfather's farm. I spent the weekends there with my grandparents, and they had horses and cows and chicken, sheep, goats, you name it. So I was exposed to taking care of animals pretty early on, and my love for animals kind of developed from there.
Well, so then what motivated you to start this dog walking service?
Back in college, my part-time job was dog walking. I was going to college for acting in New York City at Pace University. So my part-time gig in between classes was dog walking, financial district. We used to be called the Wall Street Walker before my business partner and I, Marin, we actually purchase the client list. Around that time, that's when my passion for dogs kind of took over my passion for acting. And that's how it all began.
Wow. And I mean, how many, 27 dogs a day? I'm thinking, how in the world did you do that, Dani?
Yeah, we used to walk maybe 5 to 6 dogs at a time. We now only walk up to 2 to 3 dogs at a time to specialize in that individual attention, but still provide that socialization opportunity for them. But my 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. job was walking dogs. So 27 was pretty much the day-to-day life.
That is awesome. And I know that you're really passionate too about not just the physical exercise for dogs, but also the mental stimulation. How important is that to you and why?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we developed what we call enrichment services for our dogs. It's a special service that we provide mental stimulation. So we provide some puzzle toys. We teach them tricks. We take them outside for a potty break, but allow them to sniff a little bit more than just like a structured walk. So in order to have a fulfilled dog, we really want to emphasize that mental stimulation along with that physical exertion. Because sometimes you can take a dog out for an hour, walking them, maybe even taking them to the dog park, and they're not fully fulfilled, and you're still bringing them back home and they're super, stimulated. They haven't drained all of their energy. You need that mental stimulation in the mix to just really give them that 100% fulfillment.
Oh, I love that. That you're striving to keep them happy, and happy dog mom, right? So
Oh,
I want to
absolutely.
know how did how did you go from being a dog walker to now the leader of a dog company? What was that transition like for you in that process?
Yeah, so in college, when that was my, part-time job after college, I just wanted to work with dogs more frequently. And my partner and I had the opportunity to purchase the business from our old boss, and used to be called the Wall Street Walker, but then we rebranded when we took over. And within the first year, we grew by 400%. So we were able to really like build out our team, expand in New York. So we started off in that Wall Street area, and now we service all the way up to the Upper West Side. So it just really, my passion for the dog world, as well as the business side of things, just really took off in that moment of opportunity that was presented to us. And that's where we started.
That is awesome. I mean, what do you attribute maybe to your growth, and how do you differentiate yourself from, other options in the city? You've seen like incredible success.
We honestly, I feel like we provide such a personable approach. Every dog and every dog parent is so different. And so we really want to take care of that individual dog based on their needs, based on the pet parents' needs for their own dog. Some parents can't, take their dog out during the day because they're stuck in meetings. They're, working from home, but still not able to take their dog outside. So our team really does a really impressive job just catering to the dog's needs and the dog parent. We're really great with communication. So we're actively always responding super fast, super quickly. We can accommodate last minute scheduling changes. And we do have a pretty medium sized team in New York City and Chicago. So we're able to, service the dog parent when they kind of call upon us. And I do think that that makes us different, as well as providing really like competitive rates. We know what that dog walking industry looks like in the business, and we want to make sure it's affordable but also still you know comparable so that we can provide the best service out there.
And it just puts dog moms and dog dads at ease when they know if they have a question, they can get an answer or they have access to you. You know, I'm curious. I mean, with big cities like New York and Chicago, how do you give dogs this stimulation that they're looking for and do this kind of personalized approach when you're in such big cities that are full of so much hustle and bustle? How do you pull that off?
Yeah, it's difficult, right? So even in New York
Yes.
City, you have different neighborhoods that look so different. You have a neighborhood like the financial district, which doesn't have a lot of grass to let the dogs use the bathroom, or you're servicing Upper West Side, and they do have like the Central Park area neighborhood. So we really try to take it as it is. So for the dogs that don't have that much space, that much grass, we'll try to find those, more calmer areas to give them that freedom to roam a little bit on leash, of course, but to just have more of an extension of leash, maybe walking more near the water where there's like bigger space. So we do try to cater to finding those areas to make it really enjoyable for them. Otherwise, like you said, there's a lot of hustle bustle, there's a lot of people and other dogs walking around. So that's our goal, is to just make it as enjoyable as possible.
That's wonderful. And then I'm thinking too about severe weather. These things that come to my mind, Danny. I'm thinking, well, Chicago's the windy city. I mean, and you have dogs sometimes in high rises in New York City. It's pretty complex.
Yeah, Chicago especially. I mean, the winter in Chicago is brutal. And so, we also want to keep the safety of our team and the dogs number one. That's our priority. But we do want to give them that time to have that potty break. And then we want to spend the rest of the time inside, providing them with that like mental enrichment. So it's our job to make sure they have that playtime, the mental enrichment services we can still provide, but that would be our goal, especially with severe weather days, which we're
Sure.
out there walking. As long as we can get there, we're there.
And I love how you say that not only you, but also, the dog walkers that you're hiring with the company, you're all high touch with the dogs, which is so sweet. I mean, how long do you think it takes for a dog, generally speaking, because all dogs have different personalities, but for a dog to warm up and kind of get comfortable with a walker?
Yeah, I mean, we have dogs that we can walk in the door, no problem. We've never met them before, give them a treat, leash them up. They're happy to go out for a walk. But then other dogs that are a little bit more sensitive to new people, it can take us several times. So we have structures in place to make sure that they have a good experience. We're never going to force a dog to be dragged out outside if they're terrified of us, or if, we're seeing behaviors like the dog is cowering a corner or hiding under a coffee table or couch. We're never going to forcefully approach that dog and make them go out with us. But we could set them up for success by having a meet and greet beforehand where the owner's home, the dog walker comes over, they have that initial introduction. Sometimes that's just all it needs in order to have a successful walk. Other times we need to set up several of those, and go on a walk with the owner to make sure that the dog feels comfortable. So it really is based on like what the dog needs in that moment. I mean, we have experienced dogs who, they really can't be approached by a new person, and it, takes months. And we want to work with the client because the dog doesn't want to be stuck at home not able to use the bathroom. So we really strive for that relationship, and the building and bond of that relationship as much as we can. We do our best.
Yes. I love your compassionate approach. You just seem like you just have such a soft heart. And it sounds like you hire, people who have that same mindset, which is really important. I'm curious, do you ever feel like you have to train the dog owners too? As far as sometimes I imagine that creating healthy boundaries and structure can go beyond just the animal, right?
Yes, absolutely. We're all dog moms or dog parents, and sometimes the way that the dog behaves with us is so differently than the way that they behave with someone else. So I'm a dog trainer, and so my partner and I, my business partner, is also a professional dog trainer too. So when a walker comes to us with a behavioral problem that they're noticing with a client, we assess the situation, and we either provide the walker with extra tips and tricks that might help them manage the situation better. If it's something that needs to be brought to that owner's attention, we will address it with them. But of course, in an approach that's more hypersensitive to that certain scenario, we're not going to call a dog aggressive. We don't want to make the dog owner feel like their dog's a nuisance. We just want to help guide them to make maybe better decisions based on their dog's lifestyle or routine. So that's how we approach it. We gently approach a scenario like that, but of course we're gonna bring something to the owner's attention, especially if the dog is really stressed out or there's a problem in that
Yes.
scenario.
And it's great that you provide that support and that you take the time to actually do that because that's above and beyond, Dani. Let's face it, that is above and beyond. So awesome job. You touched on your approach, the patience that you and your handlers have, how you take the dogs out on walks and you offer stimulation. But is there anything else that you want to add about the services that you provide or the oversight or anything that we didn't cover to just give us an idea of what you all do?
Yes. So we specialize in what we call our small pack walks for socialization opportunities. So sometimes, it depends on the dog, but a lot of times if the client's dealing with the dog that can sometimes be a little reactive on walks. So if they're like lunging and barking out of leash frustration, we try to kind of guide them to join a small pack walk because that can help teach the dog how to walk in a very calm manner and interact with dogs in a calm manner versus always being in play mode. So a lot of times you find that a dog is really great off leash with other dogs, but then on leash they're barking and lunging at dogs across the street or in their path. So something that we do a great job at is that small pack walk. We also provide private walks for dogs that just don't have that friendly nature with other dogs. They're more selective. But when it comes to reactivity, like that is a very good approach. And a lot of owners don't know that. They just think I'm just going to make sure that my dog doesn't socialize with any dogs because they're always barking at them. When in reality, it's just leash frustration.
There you go. I love that. Awesome tips. I know over the years you've interacted with a lot of dog moms and dads. So here at Dog Mom News, we're passionate about building the relationship between dogs and their dog moms. So do you have any advice for us on how we can be better dog moms?
Oh my goodness. I think
Yeah, where to start?
I'm like, I feel like everybody, and to be a better dog mom,
Yes.
honestly, it's just taking day by day, like your dog's attitude and mood and temperament changes like ours does every single day. They have different emotions and different needs every day, and trying to be more in tune with that instead of just assuming, oh, my dog is happy if, I take them out twice a day, or maybe the next day they need a little bit more physical exertion or mental stimulation. So it's just similar to how we interact with each other. I think that's just a good approach when interacting with your dog.
Oh, that's great. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about just the differences in cultures between cities. For example, New York City kind of has a different feel than Chicago, than does Jupiter, Florida, where I live. So, what are the differences when you compare and contrast the big cities that you work? Do you see any common threads with dog moms and dads? Or, how would you compare and contrast the two different places?
Yeah, that's a great question. So New York City, I feel, is because there's less space, I think there's more need for the pet parent to get their dog out on that walk and have it be a long walk and get that socialization, because their dog doesn't really have too many opportunities for that. So we find that, we are servicing New York clients and dog parents more frequently than Chicago, where you do have more space. So you have more open parks for the dogs to play. There's more dog parks. Daycares also provide a way bigger space where dogs can run around. So a lot of owners will send their dog to daycare. So those seem to be like the two really big differences, because a lot of the daycares in New York, like, it's really small. So you have dogs on top of each other for the most part. So that would be the difference between the two cities. And yeah, just more
Love that.
frequency in New York City.
Yeah, love those insights. Thank you so much. Now, I know that you have a really convenient mobile app too. So, can you tell us about it?
We use a third party database called Time to Pet, and it has, I mean, it basically just saved our business and helped us like organize everything so perfectly. It does our invoicing,
Nice.
our scheduler. It helps us send reports to clients so we can send them pictures and video updates. It also has options where you locate where your keys are. It's very, very useful. It has everything that we need. And so we've been using them for the past 6 years now, and we love them. And their team is amazing too. So it's a very convenient mobile app.
That's great. And it's interesting because, you started out when you were in college, you went from acting to dog walking. And, so much I'm sure has changed over time with just technology and all the advances and so many things that you have to have on your radar as a business owner. So, I'm curious what you see on the horizon for Big City Wolf Walker.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to expand to different cities. We would love to expand to DC. I definitely see us in LA. So there's a lot of room for growth. I still think we have more foot traffic we need to make in Chicago before we can, achieve those dreams. But I think because of technology and having the ability, I'm able to operate and manage my team from home. We have team leaders on the ground, we have managers on the ground, but being able to have that technology in place, I'm not needing to be in New York, I'm not needing to be in Chicago, and that will help us in the long run, and hopefully help our business grow.
It's so helpful. It is. We speak to a lot of female business owners on the show, and they're always so candid about sharing some of the obstacles that they've faced or had to overcome. How would you describe your experience or your journey as a businesswoman?
I feel like we're super supported by our clients, and um, our team is all women as well in terms of the management side. So it's really powerful to work with women. Um, and I just think that we've just been so supported by everyone in our community. And I think it's mostly because we are really compassionate and about what we do, and we strive to have the best service possible. And people do want to support women, which I feel, really grateful for. The challenges sometimes can be because we are women, sometimes we get into working with clients who might mansplain a little bit depending on the situation, so or talking over us, and so it's hard not to be emotional about those things and not take things personally. And I think that's a part of the challenge, especially for us when we're so passionate about what we do. And, I'm very emotional about what we do too. So I think that's the hardest part. It's a fine line between business and emotion. And that's something that I continue to work on a daily. But when it's your baby and your business, I think that's really hard to
Right.
uh, overcome sometimes.
Well, I appreciate your honesty and your humility. And it sounds to me like you've been able to really almost master passion and professionalism. So it's great. Dani, it's been so great to talk with you today and spend this time with you. How would you like our viewers to keep informed on what's going on with your company?
Well, thank you, Karina. So the viewers can follow us at the Big City Woof on Instagram, or Dani the Dog Trainer, which is my personal Instagram. We have Facebook, the Big City Woof Walker. So we can be, in touch that way. Also, our website is thebigcitywoofwalker.com if anyone's interested in learning more about our services.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Dani.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome and informative Dog Mom News content. And while you're at it, ring the bell so that you can find out about more content in real time. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everyone.